Berlin, April 1945. The city is dying. Soviet artillery hits every 6 seconds. Entire neighborhoods are burning skeletons of brick and steel. Smoke hangs so thick that daylight looks like dusk. On the streets, retreating soldiers, civilian refugees, and SS squads hanging deserters from lampposts. A city eating itself alive. 8 meters beneath it, under 3 meters of reinforced concrete, the man responsible for all of it sits in a small room. He is staring at maps of armies that no longer exist. Adolf Hitler has not seen daylight in weeks. He does not know that 12 men just entered his city with one order: find him and kill him. The mission has 2 problems, each enough to make most planners walk away. Problem 1 is Berlin, 2 kilometers of urban wasteland between the insertion point and the Reich Chancellery. SS patrols shoot anyone they do not recognize. Volkssturm militia, old men and teenagers with rifles, man barricades on every road. Soviet units probe the eastern districts. Both sides will kill the operators on sight. Problem 2 is the bunker. The Führer bunker sits beneath the Chancellery garden. 2 levels. The upper Vorbunker holds support staff and communications. The lower Führer bunker is where Hitler lives. Walls of 4 meters of reinforced concrete. 2 entrances, both guarded around the clock by SS from the Leibstandarte division, men who have sworn a personal oath to die for Hitler. Inside at any given time, roughly 200 people. Guards, adjutants, secretaries, officers, medical staff. The corridors are narrow and low. Steel doors separate sections. Electric light is always on, which means night vision gives 0 advantage down. This is not a dark tunnel. This is a lit concrete maze full of armed fanatics with nowhere else to go. 12 operators, 2 teams of 6, Alpha handles the kill, reach Hitler's room, eliminate the target, confirm. Bravo holds the route from entry to exit. Equipment for 2 environments. For Berlin, captured SS uniforms, forged papers, night vision for unlit streets. For the bunker, suppressed HK-416. Rifles cut short for tight corridors, suppressed pistols for close work. Flashbang grenades whose blinding flash and deafening bang multiply several times in concrete rooms. Breaching charges for steel doors, and 1 portable thermal scope that reads body heat through walls and doors. That scope is the single biggest advantage underground. It tells you who is behind a door before you open it. In 1945, that is magic, 0200. The operators enter through a bombed rail yard, moving in pairs through wreckage. SS uniforms over their gear. Night vision turns the ruined city into a green world of collapsed walls and burned vehicles. Soviet artillery rumbles in the east, flashes lighting the horizon. The noise is useful. It covers footsteps, muffles suppressed shots, and keeps every person in Berlin focused on survival rather than watching the streets. First obstacle, a Volkssturm checkpoint, an old man, and 3 boys behind a barricade of furniture. Team leader Master Sergeant Jack Caldwell makes the call. No killing civilians. They detour through the basement of a bombed apartment building, stepping over a collapsed staircase and the belongings of people who left in a hurry. A child's shoe in the dust, the smell of wet plaster, and something rotting under the rubble. They emerge on the other side. Second obstacle, an SS patrol, 8 Waffen, SS veterans checking papers with flashlights. No way around. Caldwell waits until the patrol reaches the far end of the street, then moves his team across in 2 quick bursts, 3 seconds of exposure each. The last operator's boot catches a piece of brick. The scrape sounds enormous in the quiet street. 1 SS soldier pauses and turns his flashlight back down the road. The beam sweeps across the spot where the operator stood half a second ago. He is already in the shadows on the other side. The flashlight holds for 2 heartbeats, then turns away. The patrol moves on. The Chancellery appears through the smoke. The garden behind it is cratered. In the far corner, half hidden by a blast wall, the emergency bunker exit. 2 SS guards at the door. Caldwell sends 2 operators around the garden wall from opposite angles. Suppressed rifles. 2 shots, a second apart. Both guards slide down the wall. The door opens onto a concrete stairway descending into electric light. SS uniforms come off. Night vision into pouches. From here, everything is close quarters under fluorescent bulbs. The Vorbunker. The air changes immediately, stale, warm, recycled through a ventilation system that has been running non-stop for weeks. Diesel fumes from the generator, stale sweat from too many bodies in too small a space. The sharp bite of cigarette smoke soaked into every surface. The corridor is 1.8 meters wide, ceiling low enough that taller operators have to duck at door frames. Fluorescent lights hum overhead, casting a flat white glow that makes everything look sickly and pale. The thermal scope goes forward. First room, 3 signatures sitting, communication staff, not a threat. The team passes silently. Second room, empty. Third, 1 person sleeping. They clear 4 rooms without a shot, Flex cuffing and gagging everyone, leaving them alive. Then the steel-fired door to the lower level. Thermal shows 1 guard on the other side. Specialist Torres, the team's German speaker, knocks twice. A message from the general. The lock clicks. The door opens. The guard sees a stranger and reaches for his sidearm. A suppressed round stops him. Torres catches the body, the Führer bunker. Corridors narrower, doors heavier, and somewhere ahead, a room full of SS whose sole job is to prevent exactly this. Thermal picks them up. 6 signatures in the guard room 15 meters ahead. 6 armed SS between Alpha Team and Hitler. Down the corridor, an SS guard at the next post hears something roll across the floor behind the closed door of the guard room. A small metallic sound like a tin cup falling. He turns his head toward it. That is the last clear thought he has for several minutes. Caldwell pulls the pin on a flashbang and rolls it under the door. In open air, a flashbang is disorienting. In a sealed concrete room 4 meters by 5, the blast bounces off every surface and hits like a concussion bomb. Detonation. Door kicked open, 6 men on the floor, blind deaf. Cleared in 4 seconds, but the sound has carried through the corridors. The bunker is waking up. Speed. 20 meters to Hitler's quarters. Shouts echo from deeper in the complex. Steel doors slamming, bolts racking. 2 SS soldiers come around a corner with weapons up. Automatic fire from both sides in a corridor too narrow to miss. 1 operator takes a round in the shoulder. Both SS go down. Hitler's door. Locked. Breaching charge on the hinges. The explosion in the narrow corridor is brutal. The door collapses inward. Small concrete room. Desk covered in maps marked with unit positions that have not existed for weeks. Portrait of Frederick the Great on the wall. A narrow bed against one side, sheets tangled. The air is close and warm. Hitler is standing by the desk. Historical accounts describe him in these final weeks as physically broken, left hand trembling from Parkinson's disease, posture stooped, eyes hollow. An adjutant beside him fumbles for a pistol. 1 suppressed shot. The adjutant falls. Hitler is alone. He looks at 2 men in equipment from no army he has ever seen. He does not raise his hands. Caldwell raises his rifle 1 shot. The man who started a war that killed 70 million people drops against his desk and slides to the floor. Radio call, jackpot, target down, confirmed. The withdrawal is a controlled sprint back through the route Bravo has been holding. The bunker is fully awake. SS guards pour into corridors, some half-dressed, all armed. But the narrow passages now work in the operator's favor. 1 man with a rifle can hold a 1.8-meter corridor, because the enemy can only come 1 at a time. Bravo leapfrogs backward through the Vor bunker, each operator covering the next. A door flies open 2 meters ahead of Caldwell, an SS officer with a Luger, close enough to see the whites of his eyes. Caldwell fires from the hip. The officer drops in the doorframe. Torres takes a round through the forearm from a guard behind them, switches to his pistol, keeps moving. The stairway, up, out into the garden, rain falling on scorched earth. The cold air hits like a slap after the bunker's stale warmth. Night vision back on. The garden is a green crater field, empty, over the wall and into the ruins. SS soldiers emerge from the bunker into total darkness. They have flashlights. The operators have night vision. In the rain, in a city being shelled every 6 seconds, the SS cannot find what they cannot see. The team melts into the rubble. 2 kilometers back through burning streets, Soviet shells providing a soundtrack that swallows every other sound. 41 minutes from garden entry to extraction. 3 operators killed, 4 wounded. SS losses. Roughly 30 dead inside the bunker. Adolf Hitler confirmed dead. The war does not end tonight. Generals will fight for days because the machinery of command does not stop when 1 man dies. But the symbol is gone. The name on every order, every speech, every reason these soldiers were still fighting a war lost months ago is dead on the floor of his own bunker. Could 12 operators actually do this? The Berlin phase works. A city in chaos at night with night vision is near ideal for a trained team. The bunker is where probability drops. Every steel door, every corner, every room that might hold 1 guard or 10 is a coin flip, weighted by training but still a flip. The flashbang could have failed. The German bluff at the fire door could have been questioned. Torres could have taken that round in the neck instead of the forearm. 12 men in a concrete box full of fanatics is never certain. But the gap between 1945 and today is not just weapons, it is information. The operators know the layout, the guard schedules, which doors are steel and which are wood, where Hitler sleeps. The SS defends against threats from their own century. The operators attack with 80 years of advantage. That gap turns the impossible into the merely dangerous. Would killing Hitler in April 45 change anything? Probably not. The war was weeks from ending. But what if this team went back to July 1944, when Operation Valkyrie failed, when Hitler still controlled the army, and his death could have ended the war 9 months early, saving millions of lives? That is another video. Subscribe if you want to see it, and tell us in the comments, should they have taken him alive for a war crimes trial, or was a bullet the right call?